Agenda for today is we're going to talk about why businesses need Yammer, what the advantages are, what it should be focused on, and again, I suppose in a way, it's how you can obviously sell the product to the businesses that are out there. We'll talk about the fact that information has value. The information we have is across many silos these days, emails, SharePoint sites, all sorts of stuff, and how Yammer can help you manage all that. So then we'll talk a little bit more in depth of understanding what is Yammer, what is the product, what can it do, what's it aimed at, how can a business use it effectively. Then we'll talk about how Yammer and Office 365 integrate, and we'll then focus on Yammer Enterprise, which is what is included in Office 365. As usual, we'll have our best practices and our takeaways at the end. So why do businesses need Yammer? Okay, so what's the benefit that Yammer is going to provide them? The question that you probably should ask yourself is, how do you actually communicate today? How do you as a business and an individual basically get your information? Now, most people in the technology game probably are very wedded to their Outlook, very wedded to their emails. I don't generally see a lot of social networking out there that people use, maybe a bit of Facebook. But generally most of it is wedded around emails. So once you've had a look at yourself, have a look at your business, have a look at your peers, have a look at how they communicate today, and is that really an efficient way of doing it? Now, once you've done that, what I'd point you towards to have a look at is have a look at how your kids communicate. How are they actually keeping up within their network? How are they communicating with their friends? What you'll probably find is that they don't use emails. They don't make phone calls. They typically communicate via Facebook, social media, and SMS or texting. Now, why is that relevant? Well, it's relevant in a couple of ways. The main way is that the kids of today and the millennials are the workers that are coming into the workforce now. These are the majority of people that are entering the workforce. Their expectation is when they get into a job that they're not going to be saddled with old technology such as Windows XP and Outlook 2003. They're expecting and wanting to use the latest tools like social networking. And again, one of the big things you see is a lot of businesses try to fight against this tide by shutting off Facebook or preventing people from using Facebook inside a business. So again, that is the trend. There's probably not a lot that can be done to fight that. It's a matter of, okay, how can we actually make this work for a business and create business value around it? Because really that is the future of the way that people communicate. Now also have a look at the way your staff communicate. How do they get things done within your business? What you'll probably find is most of the work or most of the solutions that they provide is done by standing around the water cooler, by walking past somebody's desk, or asking someone, or looking something up potentially, running a search. Again, people send a lot of emails backwards and forwards, but when you probably analyze where they get their solution from, a lot of it is peer-to-peer. They go to an expert, they seek out somebody who's knowledgeable, maybe follow someone on Twitter or their blog. So again, have a good look at how staff actually communicate, how they actually get their work done. So the problem for a lot of businesses is they don't really understand this concept of social. They're all about generally siloing information. So if it's not in my email, then it's not worth doing. And part of it is that you look at most businesses' email, it's pretty much out of control. The downside to everything in email is that it's typically siloed. And again, if somebody doesn't get included in that conversation, then you've got to forward the emails. Emails become difficult to read and follow in a thread. And the most important thing is they're not public. They can't be generally searchable at a later date. So if Betty from accounting has that one piece of information and she's away on holidays and that one piece of information is in her Outlook or in her inbox, then you're not going to be able to get to it or act on it. So again, it's going to limit it. The concept of social is very much around sharing information, about being public. We all laugh, we all look at some of the stuff that goes on in Facebook, and again, a lot of that is trivial. But again, the important thing is if you set the boundaries, you set the definitions, you let staff know what they want to use or how social is to be used within a business, then they'll generally follow those guidelines. Where you get problems is when you don't set those definitions, where you don't give clients the the employees the understanding of how they are to use social within a business. So the concept of social is really about being public rather than private. And again, lots and lots of businesses are finding lots and lots of benefits from incorporating social inside their business. So again, rather than being a culture of hoarding information and building basically boundaries between teams and individuals, it's all about the free flow and the sharing of information. Think about this. When most people need to find information, what do? They typically go to an internet search engine, type in a term, and that searches the internet. So where's that sort of searchability within a business? All that knowledge that a business has, all that IP they have, is generally not being made available to everyone within the organization, and that's preventing them from doing their job. So again, it all comes down to understanding and utilizing effectively within a business social networking. So again, my question to a lot of people, especially resellers, what do you use regularly? You can't implement social until you actually start using it. Okay, and again, you can use it very effectively for your business. There are lots of people that use Facebook very effectively for your business. Now, again, a lot of people laugh at this and they don't want to put their information up there. But again, if you utilize the tool, remember it's a free tool that can certainly provide a lot of benefit. And with 1.3 or 1.4 billion users that you can target down specifically very, very accurately, Facebook is something that you should not neglect in any strategy within your business. But don't forget things like LinkedIn. If you're looking for good employees, if you're looking for partners to connect to, if you're looking to get the word out about what your business does, then something like LinkedIn is probably worth investigating and investing in. What about Twitter? My favorite tool of choice is definitely Twitter. Twitter is very good for me because it allows me basically to keep up to date very quickly, very simply, to follow the right people and the right accounts that give me the information and give it to me concisely. Now, not all social networks work for everybody. Some people favor Facebook potentially over Twitter. But again, there are a lot out there. They are free, and it's a matter of using them and understanding them effectively for your business, because they can make a very, very important contribution to your business. And the reason they can do this is because they give you leverage. One small voice can now be leveraged to thousands, millions, and potentially billions of people around the world. Again, Google has its own social network, and you've got plenty of others that are out there. There's people who do Instagram. There's all sorts of Snapchat. There's all these different ways. And again, it's so easy to dismiss them. But again, the important thing is to look at them and say, how are smart businesses using these effectively within their business? So again, think about what you use social networking wise for your business. What do your customers use for social networking for your business? If you were to learn how to use social networking effectively for your business, that is certainly a skill or an opportunity to go and teach your customers more about social networking. And just excuse me. The important thing to remember here also is that social networking is going to be bigger than just people. What do I mean by that? Well, in simple terms, what I mean is the Internet of Things. So imagine a situation now where we have all these devices, your fridge, your toaster, your television, your front door, all connected to the internet, which is certainly the trend. And all these devices can now talk not only back to maybe your PC or your mobile, but they can also talk between each other. So perhaps the heating in the room knows what time you're returning, and it can then, for example, let the front door know or do something like that. And remember, think of all these devices that we're bringing online. The billions of devices are going to have their own social network where they're going to talk amongst each other and share information readily. So again, social networking is more than just people. So this is one of my favorite examples of a business that has really worked hard to adopt the social aspect. So as you can see in front of their coffee machine, apart from the Dilbert comic, which always is great, is the say no to email message. So they put that front and center in their organization to encourage all their employees to use a tool like Yammer rather than use something like email. Okay, so again, part of it is a culture change. A lot of this social network is about social networking and basically using that within your business. So it's very much about a culture change, getting involved in this. Okay, so again, social networking is more than just a technology, it's also a cultural change, and that provides great opportunity as well. So here are some videos that hopefully will give you a better idea and a better understanding or a better summary of what Yammer is and how the benefits it can provide your business. So if we look at the first one that talks about why you need Yammer, this is very much focused on the overhead that email has in a business. It shows you how inefficient, unproductive, and how slow it is to actually make a decision. It creates a lot of overhead. It also promotes a lot of confusion because when you've got a lot of emails and attachments and things going backwards and forwards, it's a case of what's the right version? Which one is the most up-to-date one? Which one should I be using? Okay, so again, have a look at that video and get some general idea of what the benefit of Yammer is. The second one here is again a generic one. It talks about working like a network. The world has changed, and again, people are now looking to share information. We're talking about mobility. Mobility plays a very big part. A lot of that is if you travel on public transport or you're out in public, you're in the city, have a look what most people are doing. Most of them are totally engaged in looking at their mobile devices. 9 times out of 10, I would almost guarantee that the thing that they're looking at on their mobile devices is basically Facebook or some sort of social network. So again, the trend may be something you don't understand or something to struggle with, but it doesn't remove the fact that the trend is a very, very important part of the way the world is moving, and also that means the way that business is moving. So another good video here is about Yammer Moments. So this helps you potentially understand a bit better how Yammer is used within an organization to share information, to solve product problems, to bring the full knowledge and the full experience and the full input of every employee within a business to bear on an issue, a problem that needs a solution. So remember, you don't need to limit the problem solvers to just 3 or 4 people. You want to involve your whole organization. You want to involve as many people as you can. You want to get as many minds as you can involved to solve the problem that is facing you. So again, another great one, which is a good example of an employee's experience with Yammer, is this one about Billy. So Billy works for LexisNexis. He's out in the field every day dealing with, on the coalface, dealing with customers, and what he is looking to do is basically make a contribution to how the new product will look. And through Yammer, even though it's a large organization like LexisNexis, he can be engaged, he can submit his ideas, and he can be part or still feel part of a bigger organization. And that's a key thing, is getting good employees, making sure they're engaged in the business. So again, a good video to have a look at. Another one that shows you how to solve a problem is the hotel key. So again, a bit of a contrived scenario, but it gives you an example of how a problem is noted, put into Yammer, multiple people contribute, and then provide a solution. And finally, this last one here is a very good example again of an employee who wants to take the initiative, who may be further down the tree and is looking to share their information and potentially help others, with the benefit to them being that they'll be recognized for that contribution. So again, how would you do that in email? If all that information, if people are asking questions in email, it's not public. Nobody would know that these people are struggling with these other issues. So again, take a look at all those videos. Certainly recommend you have a look at them, use them to show customers and help you understand Yammer and social networking a bit more. Now remember, as I said, information has value. The unfortunate thing is email silos this information. That means it's not readily shareable with others. It tends to sit in basically on the hard disk, and the value of it is never unlocked. We also work in multiple teams inside a business. There's an accounts team, there's a frontline customer service, there's an admin team. How do these people communicate if they're not sending emails between each other, or maybe one person in one team is sending an email to another person, but that doesn't mean it gets across the whole team. If it does, then they've got to CC it, include lots of people, and again, very frustrating. Again, we need to look at the fact that a lot of benefits, a lot of problems, a lot of innovations happen when 2 teams that are typically disconnected come together and solve a problem. So if you have a frontline support issue and potentially your admin team or your finance team actually discover that issue, and maybe someone there can provide some information or provide a contact that can solve that. If again that was locked in email, if they were siloed in teams, you would never see that. So again, this is the whole concept around sharing. And the other problem is so many people these days suffer from information overload. We get too many emails. People don't use emails correctly. They typically, what they do is they send an email, but then they CC 5 or 6 people. And again, we get this issue. We've got lots of emails bouncing around a lot of different people, and really not providing a lot of value. So who really wants the email? Who really needs it? It's just being pushed to you. It's not a location where you go and consume the information that you want. That's the downside with email, and that's why it's beginning to overload us in many, many aspects. And I would also contend that 90% of the emails that you receive in your inbox don't need to be private. Okay, 90% of those emails could actually be shared with others inside your organization, maybe with your customers, and it would provide value to them. So imagine if you had an email that mentioned a new product. Most people would just delete it. But imagine if that was then shared in a network where people could search it, they could then make comments, they could then make follow-up. That's the value. So again, part of the contention is actually have a look at the information. Does it really need to be private? I would contend that close to 90% probably doesn't, and importantly, it can provide value to others within the organization. Now, one of the big questions that a lot of people are facing these days is what happens when people leave an organization? What happens to their emails? Do you just put it, store it somewhere, or keep it for compliance? Is it actually used? Is it actually searchable? The value that they've accumulated in their inbox, where's that then displayed through the organization? Again, 9 times out of 10 people archive it, they put it somewhere and they never use it. It just consumes disk space. It would make far more sense for that information to be readily available, to be searchable, and to be used by every person in the organization. And at its essence, as I spoke about, it means making it public. When I make it public, then I can make it. Then it becomes shareable. That's when it then has a huge amount of value across my organization for new people as well as existing staff. So look at our business information. Where do your employees, or where do employees go to get information? Typically, they'll try and find someone they know, tap them on the shoulder. They may send them to somebody else, very disruptive, or they'll send an email to this person and then they get offloaded to somewhere else. Wouldn't it be have much more sense to be able to run an internal search across all your information that has been shared? And if they find that information, they can then consume that and maybe contribute back to it. So again, think about where a new employee goes to find the information they need to do their job every day. And the other thing you see in an organization is who can help. I've got this problem, who can help me? I don't know specifically, is it the management, is it the techs, is it whatever? Who can actually help me? If I blast an email out to everybody, that's very annoying. But again, if I post it on a social network and maybe use a hashtag like help me, people can then come in and respond to that. Now, the other advantage of that is one of the videos illustrates, is someone within your organization will see that as an initiative, will want to contribute, will want to get involved and provide support and assistance to others at no cost to you. But if the information's locked up and siloed, then it's next to impossible for them to see that information and start sharing it with them. And again, the big opportunity here is so many businesses these days are beginning to appreciate the value of being social, but they're really struggling on how they should do it. Okay, so here's an opportunity to go in, if you understand it, to help them implement that and again generate revenue. And don't forget that we can extend our social networks beyond our businesses. We can extend it to our customers, our suppliers, and our partners. Imagine if we're running a project with external parties, which many businesses do, and they need to send emails backwards and forwards, and a different person gets included on this project, another person gets included. How do we manage that? How do we get that information to them? How do we make it searchable? Again, in emails is just not a good way to do it. Social is really the way to address it. Now, with all that covered, let's talk about Yammer. So what is Yammer? So Yammer was launched in 2008, not very long ago. It was sold in 2012 to Microsoft for $1.2 billion, and it's a cloud-only solution. So you can't get Yammer server, you can't get a Yammer on premises, you can't install it with a DVD. And as with most cloud services these days, there is a Yammer Basic which is free. This is the freemium model. You can sign up today using a business email address. You can't use Hotmail, Gmail, or some hosted environment. It has to be your own unique domain. But you can sign up and start using Yammer today. So even if you don't implement it with Office 365, you can certainly start using Yammer to benefit the business. And importantly, Yammer Enterprise is free for all Office 365 suites. So it's included free in all the Office 365 suites. This means it's just a matter of turning it on. This means that it's a additional item that you can light up that a customer already has who has an Office 365 suite. Show them how to use it, get them involved, help them onboard the process, work with them with Yammer inside their business. Again, it's greenfields here. So what is Yammer? So again, here's basically a screenshot from a free Yammer environment. So as you can see, the network that I belong to, the social network here, is the Office 365 technical network. And you'll see on the left-hand side a list of all the groups, the subgroups that form part of this network. So again, Yammer can have basically a single level underneath it, and you can make those interest groups basically. So we've typically got all the Office 365 products. In the middle there, you'll see my feed. At the top, these are announcements that are basically sticky. They're stuck to the top of the page and they're stuck by administrators. Underneath that, you'll see that I have my little window where I can type in my message, ask my question, attach files, again, just provide an update. And underneath that is my feed. Okay, so I've got all the topics, the articles, the items that interest me, much like any other social network, scrolling down to the bottom of the page. On the right-hand side, you'll see that I have my recent activity. I've also got suggested people in the bottom right that I can connect to. And along the top, importantly, you'll see the search bar. So I can go in there and type the ability to search the material across that information. Now in the top right, top left, you'll notice that I also have an inbox, so I can receive emails from Yammer, and also I have an alert there as well. So again, very basic, very much like any other social network, and again, just a matter of getting in there and starting to use it. Now, how do you get in there and start using it? That's the question. So what you want to do, I'd certainly recommend you go in and create a free account at yammer.com. No cost to do that, just need an email address. Complete your profile. So again, if once you're starting with Yammer, even the Enterprise Yammer, make sure you go in and complete your profile. Tell people who you are, what you're good at. Make sure they understand the qualifications, where you can help them. Then go out and start joining some networks. There are plenty of public networks. There's the Office 365 network. There's the Australian Partner Network. I'll give you a bit of a demo, hopefully, on some of those. Then don't be shy. Social's about introducing yourself. Say, hello, my name is whatever. I'm from this business. I'm looking for help, or I can help people with X, Y, or Z. Okay, it's about being social. The way to business success, as we all know, is networking. People go to breakfast functions and spend good money to meet other people. Here, we're doing it electronically. So again, make sure that you go and introduce yourself and don't be shy. And then what you can do is follow topics. Maybe you're following a discussion on OneDrive for Business, or perhaps you're following an MVP who's making good contributions about a product or answering a lot of questions. That's a good thing about a social network. You can find the people in that network who provide you good information, and you can tag them and basically follow what they say. And that's a great way to keep up to date and find out exactly what's going on with the topic. You can manage your notifications. With Yammer, you can have your notifications emailed to you. When someone mentions you, you can get a daily summary, you can get a summary of every post. So again, don't think that Yammer doesn't include the ability to work with emails. And again, you can control those notifications yourself. How much notification you get is up to you. And importantly, as Yammer and many cloud apps are, it's all about using it on a mobile device. Okay, so download the Yammer app. They're all available on iOS, Windows Phone, Android, and start using those to understand how to contribute. So once you're out on the road, your field staff can do it. So one of the Yammer examples they use these days is the Queensland Police. So they have frontline police officers making contribution, making suggestions on how to improve the interaction with the public directly via Yammer. So again, have a look at that. Now, my tip to you is if you're looking to do Enterprise Yammer at any point in time, basically use a separate email address. A free Yammer account can be converted to an Enterprise Yammer account, but if you're just going to fiddle around, maybe in the free version and then look at eventually doing the Enterprise, just start with a different email address. So let me just pop across to a different screen here, and let me just give you a bit of a demonstration here of what what Yammer is. So I'm here. I'll be here on my Windows 10 machine, which will give us a sec to load and push out to you. So here's my Windows 10 machine. You'll see that I've logged into Yammer as my free account. So this is free Yammer. You'll see that I'm in the Microsoft Australian Partner Network. Now I can swap to a different network. You'll see that I'm a member of lots and lots of different Yammer networks down here. And again, basically we have the groups, the subgroups, the announcements as I talked about, the what I can post information in here. This is obviously the trail of the feed as we go down here. So you'll see that you've got people from Microsoft, you've got resellers, you've got all sorts of people contributing in here. I've got my recent activity, and down here, for example, I can then look at suggestions. Now, if I want to, for example, swap networks, I just click on this, and let's go to the Office 365 network. And again, I just click on that network. So think of a network basically as managed by a certain business. Now here am I in the Office 365 network, as we mentioned in the actual demo. You'll see that lots and lots of different subgroups here. This is my thread down the middle of the most important information that Yammer believes I should be aware of. I can change that to basically accept the fire hose. So if I click the all option, I will receive every single update from everything that I need, that everything I'm subscribed to. The idea with Discovery here is that you allow the algorithm to surface what's most relevant. And the last option here is I've got the ability, obviously, to go in and follow certain individuals. So again, nice and easy, plenty of options here. And as you can see, there's lots and lots of subgroups that can then be focused on different information. Now when I go to my all network, which is like the top level, you'll see that I can go in here and look at not only the conversations, but I can look at the information about the group. I can see who are members. Yammer also allows you the ability to upload files, so you can embed files into Yammer and share them directly from Yammer, and you can also basically create simple and quick notes. So again, just a quick note, maybe a quick item that you can put in here that's relevant to that group. Up the top here, you'll see that I can go back to my home. I have an inbox, so any of that thing that needs or stuff that has been directed to me specifically will appear in my inbox, and I have alerts that allow me to be notified of the information that I've selected. You'll see that I can also run a poll, and I can also do things like praise individuals as well. So again, all of this is available in the Yammer free. You just basically go and sign up. That will create your own home Yammer network, and then you can go out and start joining things like the Office 365 network. You've got the Office 365 partners. There's a huge amount of networks that are available in the free version of Yammer for you to basically get involved with. So again, no cost to do that. Let me swap back to the slides. Okay, so that's the free version of Yammer. So let's talk about Yammer and Office 365. As I said, it's available in all suites of Office 365, just a matter of enabling it. It also has standalone offerings, so if you do have customers that do wish to have Office 365, just Yammer Enterprise Yammer by itself, you can certainly do that. It's integrated with Office 365. What we're seeing now is that it's built into the app launcher. You see a little Yammer icon, which I'll show you. You click on that and you're automatically logged in to Yammer. Okay, so you're now being able to use the one login into Yammer as well as Office 365. We're also seeing new integration features like through Delve and the upcoming Skype for Business preview that allows you, for example, to have a Skype for Business meeting like we're having here, and then potentially create a Yammer group and have the Yammer conversation about that event at the same time. So I do have access to that preview. We'll look at enabling that to give you a feel for that on upcoming webinars if at all possible. But the main thing here to understand is that this idea of social is being integrated deeper and deeper and deeper within Office 365 in all aspects, from email to SharePoint to Delve to Skype for Business. And don't forget that underneath this, that the things like Office Graph and Delve are using Yammer to create signals to understand how people interact with their business and surface the information which is most relevant for you. So one of the things I tell many businesses is that you don't start your day looking at your inbox, or you don't start your day looking at your SharePoint site. You generally employees should start their day looking at Delve, and Delve takes all the signals of interactions the employees had during the day and from other people and surfaces the most relevant information to them in one single pane of glass. Part of those signals that it derives are from Yammer. So the more social, the more you use Yammer, the more an organization gets involved in using these sort of tools, the better the information that is surfaced to employees to help them do their job and be more productive. Now, how do we actually enable Yammer integration Office 365? Well, you log in as an Office 365 administrator to your portal, and then in the middle column there under Service Overview, you'll see an item there that says Included Services. If you select that option, that will then give you the ability to activate Enterprise Yammer. All you need to do then is obviously click on the link that says yes, activate Enterprise Yammer, and then you'll be then prompted to which domain you want to activate this on. Now, Yammer is based around a domain name, so if you have multiple domain names, you would need to pick a primary domain. So again, it's all based around a domain name. Once you've selected activate, then it'll sit in the background there, and it'll take excuse me, generally 1 to 30 minutes for this activation to complete and for your Yammer Enterprise network to be available. If you created a Yammer free network with the same domain name as you're activating with your Yammer Enterprise network, that free network will be automatically converted to an enterprise network, and the user's logins will become Office 365 logins. And then the suggestion is what you need to do is go into the SharePoint settings, and you need to change your enterprise social collaboration from using SharePoint Newsfeed, which is the default, to actually using Yammer.com. So this means this will highlight Yammer as the social solution throughout Office 365. Then once you've done all those steps, after that 30-minute process of activation, or up to 30-minute process of activation, you'll find that your app launcher for all your employees will have the Yammer button now available right there in the center. So that's basically how they would get to Yammer, log into Office 365, go to their app launcher, and then select the Yammer button, and that will then give them that single sign-on directly into Yammer, into the Yammer network that you have just enabled. Now, Yammer Enterprise supports a single sign-on from the Office 365 portal. So once I've logged into Office 365 and I select the Yammer icon, I will automatically be logged into the Yammer service. It has more features. So the Enterprise version, as an admin, basically gives you more features, and it gives you better control and much better security. So there are some major advantages over the free version. You can also link to external networks now. So you may have a company Yammer network that's private to all your business. You can then go and create what's called an external network in Yammer, and then you can have others come in and collaborate. So for example, if you're running a project, you may create an external Yammer network based around that project, invite third parties into that external network, collaborate, share information, and invite and have employees from your business in that external Yammer network. That then keeps it separate from your private internal network. And you can create as many external Yammer networks as you wish. You can now also embed Yammer feeds directly into SharePoint Online. So when a user comes into their SharePoint, if you've based around an intranet solution, when they open that home page, first thing, they will see the Yammer feed embedded directly into a SharePoint site. They can then make contributions. They can then see what's going on. They can then work with Yammer without necessarily having to go to a dedicated application. And as I mentioned before, Yammer allows you to do interactions via email. So the free version allows you to receive notifications. The enterprise version actually allows you to submit as well as receive updates from posts and feeds via email. So you can submit a response, a topic, a question directly via email into Yammer. So each Yammer group has a unique email address, and then because you've submitted that, via email, you will then receive updates via that email. So again, there's not a lot of reason, or there is another option here, perhaps instead of distribution groups and distribution lists, which is pushing everything into emails and locking it away. putting that sort of communication into something like Yammer, the people who are hesitant, the people who like emails, can certainly enable that factor and use email interactions within inside their organization. And again, you as a business can help the customer migrate to Yammer and potentially configure the email stuff initially to help that transition. And I will say that there are some integration limits at the moment. It's not quite as integrated as we would like. It is improving down the track, but remember, Yammer was a completely separate business that Microsoft is now integrated, now moving across to Azure, having the single sign-on. So it is improving dramatically, but again, there are some limitations when it comes to some of the integration, but they are certainly becoming less and less every day. Now, when you connect to Yammer Enterprise, you will see you'll get more control. On the bottom left, you will get not only the networks, you'll get a little admin option. When you pull that down, this will take you to the Success Center, and you'll see this Success Center here, which gives you lots more options to control your Yammer than the Yammer free network. So when you've got Yammer Enterprise configured, you'll see an admin option in the bottom left, and then when you go into that, you'll see lots and lots of additional options here to configure. So one of the things you can do is you can set up directory synchronization, you can do auditing, you can do terms of usage, you can set all those sort of things up in the enterprise version. Now, what I mentioned here is the Yammer Enterprise also allows document conversations directly from Delve. So if you're using Delve, you'll find a little Yammer button. If you select that, a little toast menu will appear from the left-hand side, and you can now basically make conversation around that document in Yammer, but again, you can do this directly from Delve. So again, rather than sending a file as an attachment or maybe just as a link, you can basically post that link to Yammer, have the conversation in public, invite people to come in and share that information with you and work with you and make that public. So even when that job is finished, that information then is available to everybody. So again, document conversations is available directly through Delve. So you find the document in Delve, select the little Yammer icon under the document, and then you can create a document conversation. So let's just pop out and have a look at a quick demo here back on the desktop. So give it a sec for the screen to come back up. When it comes back up, you'll see that I have logged in as another user. So this is an Office 365 user called Lewis Collins. We are looking at his Office 365. You'll see that I have the Yammer button front and center. When I select that, I'll be taken to my Yammer Enterprise network. So again, these are all the employees within my Yammer organization. Again, they can go in, and if I put in here, for example, if I go in and put @ and maybe want to include my other employee here called Tony Stark and can help you, I simply go in there and post that information. I can, for example, create a hashtag, for example, helping you, and then I can post that. And now, that may seem a bit superfluous, but again, importantly, don't forget that now that that hashtag has been created, like #helpme, if I click on that, what I'm getting is I'm now getting all conversations that mention that hashtag. So again, if you set up a system within your business and you use consistent hashtags, you'll now be able to click on that hashtag and get all the conversations that relate to that item. So again, think of all those things that common in the business, shopping orders, stationery orders, we need this. Help is a very good one. Again, so think that you can use the social network, you can mention people. Now, by mentioning Tony Stark here, obviously I can click on him, I can go and send him a message, I'm following him, but he will receive by default an email indicating that he has been mentioned in a Yammer network. So again, you can turn that off, but by default, they will receive an email saying you've been mentioned in the Yammer network. Here's the conversation. Click on this link to go in and continue the conversation. Okay, so again, nice and easy to work with. Now, because Lewis is a network admin, if I select the network admin options, you'll see that I'm taken to the Success Center here, and you'll see there are a lot more options than are available in the free version of Yammer. So again, one that I'll point out here is the monitor the keywords. So for example, what I'm doing here is I'm monitoring any of the conversations in my Yammer network around the word Bitcoin. So if I see the word Bitcoin, I'll receive information. You'll see that I get account activity, I get the ability to go to external networks, I can set up a usage policy, I can also change the design, the look and the feel. So again, certainly encourage you to look at enabling Yammer. It is a cultural change. It's very easy to enable technically, but a lot of it is around a culture change, which does then present an opportunity to help a business understand social and implement it inside their business. But remember, there is a difference between Yammer Free and Yammer Enterprise. So we've gone back to the beginning of our slides here. So let me just do a quick summary of all this and get back to the right location. Apologies for this. Okay, so I think that should be our demo. So our best practices to finish off, my advice is simply and easily enable Yammer. Use Yammer to understand the benefits. Maybe it doesn't work for your organization, but do use it to understand how it can work for a business. Connect to the Office 365 network in Yammer. I've put the URL in there in the slides, and that will be available afterwards. Don't forget to use email integration to improve adoption. Those people who don't like websites and social, enable email so that they can start contributing and see the value. You'll be surprised how quickly they move across to using Yammer directly. And in essence, you need to be social. Don't lock information up. Think about sharing it. What business benefit can others get from sharing their information? And support customers by being included inside the Yammer network. So if you set up a Yammer network for a customer, by all means, get yourself added into that Yammer network so that you can potentially provide a self-help group or answer questions or be involved with that business. So again, look as Yammer, once you enabled it in your customer's business, as an opportunity for you to embed yourself to help them and understand their business and be involved in their business in a larger way. So my takeaways are, social is the way people are expecting to work these days. Embrace it, understand it, and look at the opportunities it can provide your business and your customers. It requires a bit of a different approach. It's not email, it's about sharing, and that's a big change for a lot of people, but change also brings opportunity. The opportunity, I believe, is that you're going to be helping the business, not necessarily turn on Yammer. You're going to be helping them with the business change, how to onboard it, how to make the most of it, how to be efficient, showing them how to use the product. Again, there's not a lot to it. The real benefit is the value add, helping them understand social, connect with their customers, their employees, and also external parties. I would suggest you need to use collaboration across the entire organization. Don't just lock it down to one group within your organization. Create something that's open. Let people contribute. You'd be surprised once they're given some guidelines as to what they can actually achieve and how well they do work. And remember that integration with Office 365 is only going to grow. As we showed, as part of that is that integration with Delve is going to improve, is going to become more and more powerful. And again, I think one of the big opportunities for the smaller operators, if you learn Yammer really well, you've now got an opportunity to work with larger businesses who are looking to improve their productivity by working with tools like Yammer. Okay, so it opens up your opportunities to be able to go to speak to them if they've got Office 365 to help them implement Yammer to do it right. What are the hashtags? How should they implement it? What are the policies? What are the training opportunities that can be provided? So again, a range of resources here, which again will be available in the slides.